All right, well, let's get started. Um, Hello, everyone. I'm here to take you on an OO automation journey today. Let me start off by introducing myself. So, my name is Marcel Wortel. I'm 31 years old and I live in the Netherlands. I work as an automation specialist for the Rabobank, and I've been doing that with a great deal of fun for the last 4 years. I started out at the Rabobank as an IBM mainframe operator back in 2009. So, I've been with the organization for about 8 years. I was born and raised in Zoetermeer, which is about 15 kilometers outside of The Hague. I wasn't counting on anybody to know where Zoetermeer is, but I'm hoping The Hague will ring a bell. Fun fact, Zoetermeer is the ICT capital of the Netherlands. It's more of an ambition as opposed to a fact, but it's fun to say you live in the ICT capital of the country. I still live there today with my wife and my son, who is almost 2 years old. The Rabobank was founded in 1972. Nowadays, we're one big worldwide organization that has roughly 50,000 employees. We have over 13,000 servers, virtual and physical. In the Netherlands alone, we have roughly 5,000 servers spread out between two data centers that are 50 kilometers apart. I'm not quite sure about the other 8,000 servers, since we've just recently merged with the international part of our organization. So I have very little information about those. Our headquarters is located in Utrecht, but most of the ICT departments work in Zeist, as do I, which is just a little bit outside of Utrecht. This is just the overview of the presentation. I'll be talking about how our journey started 10 years ago. Then we'll skip ahead 10 years about where we are now and how we got there. At the end, I'll go over what lies ahead in the near future for us as team automation at the Rabobank, and I'll try to reserve some room for questions at the end of the presentation. We started 10 years ago, back in 2007, as the data center automation team. We started using two HPE products, Operations Orchestration and Server Automation, or the way we described it, if OO is the ears and eyes for automation, then SA is the hands and feet, meaning that OO is used to orchestrate workflows and mainly gather and process information, whereas SA is used to make changes on systems as orchestrated by OO workflows. Now, we had a few use cases for workflows the organization needed, but we started out small, just one team, 3 engineers, all new to the two products. Those 3 engineers were responsible for designing and administrating the OO workflows. So like I said, there were some clear use cases for HPE operations orchestration that would benefit the organization, especially our IT ops departments. So for example, we have the automatic instant dispatching workflow. This one really helped out our service desk for IT ops, or control room, if you will. With this flow, all low priority incidents that are registered in HPE Service Manager would be dispatched automatically to its correct assignment group. Another example is our software deployment workflow. So this one saved up a lot of time for the software teams, enabling them to focus on other tasks that they normally wouldn't get around to. So this is just for any software you would need on your laptop. You just click on order somewhere in the shop, and then an OO workflow will install the software for you. The last example is our monitoring agent restart workflow. It instantly restarts monitoring agents when the service is down for whatever reason. So this workflow prevents downtime on monitoring and thus improves the stability of our infrastructure. So even though we had the name data center automation, our focus was not exactly on that part of our organization yet. Next to OO, we are going to use server automation. We would mainly use it for OO itself, for the use of the agents that it provides. But we were also going to use server automation for provisioning servers, auditing, and something we call the Infrashop, but we'll get to that later. So with 3 engineers and a great load of ambition, our automation journey was just getting started. So this was pretty much our slogan during the start of our journey. We were impressed with HPE OO for the possibilities of the tool really seemed endless. we had the feeling there was no customer whose needs we couldn't meet. We would soon find out that this slogan would get the attention of the entire organization, but in order for us to meet everyone's needs, we would need to grow fast. So by stating we could do anything the customer would want us to do, we realized we were getting ourselves into a mess. Nothing we developed was standard, everything was custom built, and the operational tasks for maintaining the workflows were just piling up. So even though we reached a large deal of our organization, we were spending a lot of time fulfilling the customer's need, even as we added more engineers to our teams. And what's even worse, the customers often did not realize what they asked for, meaning we would spend our time creating something we thought they would want, but in the end, it turned out that the customer wanted something entirely different. So we see that in this cartoon right here, something we would like to avoid. So we realized we had a lot to learn in order for our engineers to be efficient in developing workflows. We would need quality assurance, design principles, and best practice guidelines overall. So those would be the focus points for our automation team going into the future, just to prevent situations as we see in this cartoon. It literally meant we had to get rid of flows that looked like this. These were our typical flows we had back then, where 50% of the flow was just checking or validating the input that was provided. So the whole flow just turns into this spaghetti monster when you have to take each and every scenario into consideration. So learning from the struggles we had during the start of our journey, we're 10 years further now, and we've been growing and learning ever since. Currently, we have 17 engineers spread out across 3 DevOps teams. We've adopted the Scrum methodology, and we appoint a product owner and Scrum master for 3 teams. So by using this way of working, we're also streamlining the way a customer would request a new workflow or change their existing ones. This ensures that our engineers can focus on developing and maintaining the flows and spend less time going back and forth on the customer's needs. So instead of doing anything the customer would want us to, we set up these standard integrations ready to be used in workflows. We've been using more of the HPE out-of-the-box functionality for designing the workflows as well. So we've created our footprint as the data center automation team, best showcased by something we call the Infrashop. So back when data center automation was still the main thing, we developed workflows for something we call the Infrashop. It's just a custom-made catalog-based shop for all our infra-related needs. It took a couple of years to fully develop each and every workflow, together with the custom-made front end of the Infrashop. It was a long-lasting collaboration of several departments who worked together in smaller projects. So the main goal was to achieve massive reduction in delivery time for infra-related services, and honestly, just try to do the same work with less people. So as an organization, we saw a rapid rise in development teams all needing servers, storage, network services, etc. And we want a self-service solution, so thus the Infrashop was created. Now, as far as the front end goes, you just click on the item you need in the shop, go through the dialogues and fill in your order details. And then as soon as you've made your purchase, the HPE OO flow will be triggered and take care of the entire order. So depending on the type of order you make, we take care of the administrative tasks, such as registering change requests in HPE Service Manager. And we take care of the operations you need, like increasing a CPU or RAM on a server, or order a completely new server. So this ensures that your order is picked up immediately after you make the purchase, reducing the delivery time significantly by performing cross-department operations. No more bouncing your order around, having it sit idle while it's being sent from department to department. This is just an overview of the different Infrashop orders that we have available. You can just read through those. For example, the new virtual server order, you can get a new virtual machine delivered within 2 hours. Just the paperwork alone used to take up to 2 weeks for that. and things like extra storage in case you're running out. So for each Infrashop order, there are several OO workflows behind it that are triggered from the Infrashop browser itself. So we used HPE OO for basically each and every task in the ordering process, where possible. Of course, we can't just have a workflow deploy a physical server, but we can do all the subtasks that come with the order. So the way we engaged this project wasn't very agile. For each order that was added to the Infrashop, we had to create dozens of workflows from scratch again. We had so many levels within our Infrashop flow repository. There were subflows within subflows within subflows. And developing these kind of workflows was very time consuming, and it cost a lot of maintenance as well. So about a year and a half ago, we decided that we need to redesign our workflows in order to quickly adapt to all the organizational changes that are coming. So with the strong reduction in how long it takes for an engineer to order the infra-related services, the need for faster development of the Infrashop workflows grew exponentially. And the type of flow you see on the left even looks like it requires high maintenance and would take a while to develop. So we want to make sure that if we needed to add a new workflow, it wouldn't take us several months, but mere weeks for the entire process of designing and using the workflow. For us to do that, we need to make sure that our workflows were generic and easy to reuse. So this will make development faster and easier, but also maintaining the workflows would be a lot better to do with consistency throughout all the independent workflows. We try to reach that by creating building blocks. So with these building blocks, we managed to reduce the time we spend on developing infrastructure workflows. Building blocks are just, the foundation for each and every Infrashop flow. We even created error handling building blocks in order for all the Infrashop workflows to use the same method of error handling. This helps in maintaining the workflows and troubleshoot issues when they occur. So by having these building blocks, it makes it easier for us to adapt to any environmental changes throughout our infrastructure or our organization. So instead of updating each and every workflow, we would just need to change, the building blocks on which they rely. So another important aspect while redesigning the workflows was to take a look at how we were using HPOO. So as we learned from the start of our journey, we always said that we could do anything, and that was especially true for the Infrashop flows. So OO was used for storing basically every kind of information, which means that if something changed within the organization or the infrastructure, our flows would need to change as well. And we realized we were constantly editing workflows in order to keep up with all these changes. This did not seem right, and it was really limiting our abilities to focus on creating new workflows or spend our time on innovation. So together with the Infrashop front-end team, we managed to change the way we would use HPOO. So no longer would OO be the intelligence, that does all the calculations and where all the data and information will be stored. Simply put, OO would just take the information provided by the Infrashop front end and execute the flow. Zero questions asked. All sorts of checks and calculations will be done by the Infrashop itself, thereby reducing the number of steps significantly in all our workflows. So we were able to create these powerful workflows with the help of HPE Server Automation. With its agent, it opened up a way for our workflows to get access to all the servers throughout our data centers. Seeing as we don't use a lot of HPE Server Automation functions nowadays, I won't spend too much time on this topic. We have approximately 5,300 agents installed on Unix, Linux, and Windows servers. Now, this is just for the data centers in the Netherlands. Like I said at the start, we have no agents installed on any servers from the international part of our organization yet. With automatic agent distribution, it means that when a new server is ordered, an SA agent is installed directly onto the machine. So this makes it possible for HPE00 to immediately run workflows on a new server and perform automation tasks. Server automation is no longer used for provisioning servers, but we're still using it for some audits. And at the moment, we're in the process of upgrading server automation from 1023 to 1051, just to make sure we keep up with the latest changes. Now, server automation is a crucial part in our Infrashop workflows, because like I said, it lets us automate as soon as a new server is live, and with the privileges we get through the agent, there's no need for user management. So that reduces a lot of time. Now, back in 2007, even though we started out as a data center automation team, our main focus was on the IT ops teams, with the workflows I gave an example of in the beginning. So basically automating process for our entire IT ops department, and we started out with the instant dispatching workflow. So this workflow is still used today, and it has been saving about 150 man hours every month since it was deployed 9 years ago. So we've always been active with process automation. That's pretty much where our roots are. And by having made big steps with data center automation already, with the Infrashop, our focus would once again be on process automation. Now, there's been a lot of focus on automating repetitive tasks or standard changes within the entire organization in order to, for example, reduce error ratios. But it also creates time for teams to invest in innovation or other activities that they would not get around to without automated processes. And by analyzing a workflow thoroughly with the customer before we start development, we reduce development time significantly. I mean, nowadays we're offering our building blocks and relying more on the out-of-the-box HPE solutions. And the rise in API usage from other applications nowadays also means we can automate even more efficient. So we offer our custom-made integrations to our customers that are ready to use, without any further tweaking needed. Some examples of our custom integrations are for HPE Service Manager, HPE BSM, HPE OMI, Tivoli, IBM mainframe systems, and of course, we have custom integrations for HPE OO itself. There were quick wins for us to achieve at so many departments, so we need to make sure we could deliver fully operational workflows fast and steady. By setting up and following design principles, we were able to reduce the effort it takes for maintaining and administrating the workflows. Consistency throughout our workflow collection is crucial in order for our teams to keep operational costs at a minimum. Now, how do we reach this consistency, you ask? Well, we create a quality assurance flow that checks certain attributes of our workflows in order to determine if they meet our design principles. So, it's a flow that checks flows. Now, it sends the developer an email with a full report of what needs to be checked or altered before the workflow can be deployed in our production environment. Not everything can be checked automatically, so before any flow gets deployed and used by the customer, developers run a quality assurance check on each other's flows. To help with this, we've created a quality assurance checklist that we fill out to make sure our workflows meet our design principles and best practice standards. Now, at the moment, we're still working out ways to enhance the quality assurance workflow to take over even more manual steps for faster workflow deployment. The flexibility of the QA workflow allows it to have certain checks removed or added easily by having it set up in a parallel split. So even our QA workflow follows our own design principles. The SCRUM method also helps to accomplish this, even though we're still looking for a better DevOps balance within our teams. Developing workflows is easy to plan, but administrating and maintaining them is not really plannable. So by working in sprint cycles, we're always trying to improve, whether it be our velocity or our quality. By having our teams alternate their sprint starts, our customers never have to wait more than a week before we get started on the intake process. Work is then prioritized on several criteria points. Very recently, we've upgraded from 1050 to 1070. With recently, I literally mean last weekend. So since Sunday, we're running on 001070. We've been running workflows in 0010 since September 2016. After upgrading from 09 to 10, we had a lot of content upgrading to do, which almost took us a year. We had so many custom integrations in 09 that it made it harder for us to upgrade to 10. So by using more of the out-of-the-box functionality from now on, we'll be able to keep up with the latest releases with no trouble and little effort. So our current flow library features workflows for example, automated software deployment. We have our workplace redeployment workflows. We have workflows for unlocking several types of accounts like Oracle or Windows Administrator accounts or Linux accounts. We have a workflow to restore files. We have a workflow for DDoS mitigation. And of course, with the Infrashop, we have workflows for everything infra related. So that's pretty much where our journey has brought us so far. However, the future is around the corner and IT is always changing, and we should stay ahead of the curve if we want to have a positive impact on our organization. So once again, we're stepping into the spotlight, mainly from a perspective of process automation. We're looking for quick wins around the entire organization and trying to start small at new departments. So a big change for our team is the fact that recently we've integrated with the Rabobank international side of the organization. So we no longer have that distinction between the organizations. Now it's just one Rabobank and one IT for all. So this means that our services are going to be needed on a worldwide scale, and it's up to us to make sure the entire worldwide organization knows what our automation team is capable of. Now, to deal with the new international demand, we're also looking into automation as a service. How can we enable departments from across the globe to use HPOO for themselves and create easy to make and ready to use workflows? For us to have such a service offering, we'll need to invest even more into these building blocks so that creating workflow is even more drag and drop based without the need for much customization. For us to reuse our existing workflows on a worldwide scale, it's also important that we get server automation agents on the international servers. So we're also looking to increase our HPE server automation usage. And who knows, maybe we can start using those cool functionalities again, like server provisioning, that the tool has to offer. We're also looking into the new HPE Hybrid Cloud Management Suite and are exploring tools such as HPE Cloud Server Automation to expand our services to the cloud platform. So there's a lot ahead of us. And yeah, that's how we come to the end of our automation journey. So a small recap, started out 10 years ago as a data center automation team, just 3 engineers. Data center automation took us a short while to nail. In the meantime, we had been creating workflows for process automation, and we realized that we could create process automation workflows for the entire organization. As long as the customer was able to tell us exactly what he wanted, and we knew how to say no to certain customizations. By focusing more on things like the intake process and analyzing workflows before development, we've been able to streamline our development process. Together with design principles, a solid quality assurance process, and overall best practice guidelines, we're able to create high quality flows that don't expand the operational tasks after deployment. So we have a strong and solid data center automation workflow collection that serves our infra-related needs with the Infrashop. So with the focus on deploying our current service offering worldwide and the excitement of the new cloud platform, our journey just continues.